I think when we hit our 50s, our bodies basically decide to have a whole different agenda. Because mine sure did this summer. I just want to be this friend. I want to be a friend sitting across the table from you and really just having a conversation. Let's just call it witching about where we are in life. Like, it just sucks sometimes. I think today's pressure for women to stay forever 30, it is real. This perfect body, perfect life, if you will, it sucks. It sucks. If I can say it any louder without blowing the mic out, it sucks. Okay? You're moody, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're forgetful, you can't complete a sentence, you've got brain fog, my gosh, weight gain, hot flashes. Listen, I've learned in community that a 5-minute vent with a friend can drop my cortisol faster than a 50-minute yoga class. I will take a conversation with a friend any day, any time of the week. Okay, it's Michelle, and I am so glad you are here today because this episode here is going to be different than all the other ones we've had combined. Today, we are going to talk about menopause, muffin tops, weight gain, cortisol, moodiness, all of the things that I know that I'm going through, and I'm pretty sure most of you, some of you are going through the same thing. If not, save this video because eventually you're going to get to that place. So here's what I want to start with. I think when we hit our 50s, our bodies basically decide to have a whole different agenda because mine sure did this summer. Listen, this summer was just a lot of stress. And with stress and menopause, my cortisol levels were basically through the roof, and my jeans, anything in particular, any kind of clothing that seemed to touch my body was stretching or tie. I couldn't button it. It was just all the things, And the stress of this summer was really about showing up for my family, being able to show up for my marriage, being able to understand where my kids were. They were adult children, and yet some of them were living at home. They were trying to find their careers. They were just doing all the things. So that stress that comes with kind of launching our children, if you will, our marriage, kind of just learning how to re-communicate with each other. Our life was built around our children, if you will. And we had to look at each other and go, who are we? And so we really had to navigate this space. Just those two things alone, I think a lot of you can relate and say, yeah, I get it. I get that stress. Well, and then we also run a construction business. So you've been hearing the magic word tariffs. Everywhere, our price increases, everything from the grocery stores to our homes that we're building. And so we've had customers to say, we're going to put it on hold. We're going to wait for this time to just pass. We're going to hope the things that will come back to a good level, if you will. So we've got all of this stress. And I was starting to notice a belly, if you will. No, mind you, I had a set of twins. So I always knew my stomach had stretched, my muscles were stretched, but I started to see this belly come out and I'm thinking, what in the world? And that's kind of like my nice language and the nice way to put it, but that's kind of where I was at. I was like, what was going on? Like, whoa, what just happened? Because I was going through, I just, finished my year out. I was not from perimenopause to menopause because perimenopause is a whole different conversation because I didn't know whether to laugh or cry sometimes. But your weight begins to fluctuate once you hit menopause and you start looking at these and watching these commercials, if you will, these magic pills or, take this shot, you'll lose all the weight. And you do see people doing it and you do see the success in it, but you're kind of like, I want this for myself, but you're struggling, right? And I just want to come to you today and I just want to be this friend. I want to be a friend sitting across the table from you and really just having a conversation. Let's just call it witching about where we are in life. Like, it just sucks sometimes, right? And listen, not here to sell you anything. Sure, I'm going to have a free download of kind of my framework of what's been helping me out and such. So that's down in the description below, and we'll have more information about that. But I really want us to have just a one-on-one conversation, be friends in the moment, because it is a place sometimes where you do feel alone. You feel like you're going through this alone. You don't want to sit here and go like, I gained 10 pounds and put it on Instagram. That's not something you're proud of. So we kind of suffer in silence, if you will. I think today's pressure for women to stay forever 30, it is real. This perfect body, perfect life, if you will. I think, I'm 52. You grew up with Farrah Fawcett or Wonder Woman, and that body, it just the slim waist, the tight waist, or you advanced into the 90s with Kate Moss and Cindy Crawford. Like, those were the goals, if you will. If we can look like that, that meant the success. That meant that we were it, right? I did a little research for this podcast episode, and I've got a couple of notes here that really I think are just so defining into where we are as a people, as a culture. The beauty industry, they are so focused on the 30s because the 30s is the marketing sweet spot because things are starting to change or they're starting to want to get ahead of those changes. And so what's happened is this anti-aging, anti-defined industry has become this $85 billion industry from everything from retinol, peptides, collagen, to supplements for hair loss, Botox, chemical pills, you name it. I'm sure a lot of us have done those things. I'm guilty of those things, and I contributed into this industry. But is that not an obscene amount of money? I mean, listen, we also have 20-year-olds, for goodness sakes, getting Botox. Like, this money is going to just keep growing as the younger generations start to go and think they need anti-aging procedures, anti-aging supplements to go ahead and prolong the way that they can go ahead and get these wrinkles and all the things. Here's another stat that I found so interesting is the American Society of Plastic Surgeons gave 3.6 million procedures. Okay, 3.6 million procedures. Think about that. Plastic surgeons. Now, you would think that meant for all women. Okay? And this is the kicker, this is only 3.6 million procedures in 2022 for only the age bracket of 30 to 39. Wow. That alone, I mean, is obscene because that's everything from breast lifts to Botox. Like 3.6 million procedures. That's crazy. And then if you're anything like me, I love to work out. Like I do. I love working out. It makes my body feel good. And there's times now where I don't get so maybe excited or, you reach some stalemate because things are not coming off as fast as they used to. And you get frustrated. I don't think I'm the only one believe this, but right, I think we go and we work out and we get frustrated because it's just not coming off fast enough like it used to when we were in our 30s and our 40s. And all of a sudden you hit this menopause and it's like, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to get rid of this meno belly. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. And I do the cardio and I do the weightlifting, all the things, get your body strong, all of that. And I'm looking at the scale and I'm thinking, not a pound is dropping off. And I believe, yes, okay, I can't do the same workouts I did when I was in my 20s and in my 30s. The body's just not built the same way. There are things that we have to consider in those things. And I'm not going to be this doctor because I'm not. And I'm not going to pretend to you that I know what to do because that's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is for you to feel like you're not the only one. For me to go, you know what, where was this conversation when I needed to hear it the most? Because it's been a struggle. And I think these numbers are really truth-telling. They really, really are truth-telling. So what I believe needs to happen is this aging, what I'm going to call reframe, okay? And if we can reframe and understand, okay, we might have weight, we might definitely have hair loss. We're going to have wrinkles. We're going to need to wear readers, if you will. We're going to have to do some of these things, but that doesn't define who we are. If we can define aging as knowledge, as experience, as wisdom, or even just perseverance. I mean, how many of us has persevered through so many things? I mean, my goodness, if you're still married, you've persevered. If you've launched children out of your home, you've persevered. Let's think about the things that we have accomplished and done. And here's the thing. Our bodies change, our seasons shift, and doesn't the enemy love to whisper in our ear, you're losing it, you don't have it anymore, or, I mean, you're wasting your time trying. I mean, can we just shut him up? Can we just shut him up? I want to share with you an Instagram post that I wrote back in July of 2022, and I hadn't gone through menopause yet, but it said this: aging is a privilege. I still believe that's so true. Aging is a privilege, ladies. I mean, no, seriously, it is. We get to prove how beautiful it is just to be our age and do it with confidence, with strength, and to look good in the process. See, my hope is to grow a community of women, faith-driven women, into a life full of purpose, because I think we are so focused on what we look like that the enemy distracts us with those things to get us away from what our real purpose is in life, whether that's in the season that we're in. I love my phone. Let's see. Helping them rediscover their passions and identity in Him. Let's find the inspired, brave spirit that lives in all of us. And let's get good at aging together. I still believe that 3 years later, that I want us to age together well. Okay, so I want us to really look at 3 things that we are tackling in menopause the most, I feel. Stress is number 1. Number 2, hormones. And number 3, emotional eating. Let's look at stress. See, this chronic stress that I was feeling over the summer, I mean, it impacted my hormones. I was either crying or happy. It was like I was still in perimenopause, but yet I didn't know who I really was going, like, who was I going to be today? And it was really confusing. And even so, I thought, okay, I'm past it. I'm in menopause. Like, I shouldn't be there. But stress was bringing on so much cortisol, so much weight, and I didn't understand why. And then my hormones. Oh, man. I mean, the mood swings. Let me just tell you, the hot flashes, they're absolutely insane. I don't have them as bad as some of the other people that I know have them. But it's absolutely crazy when your husband can be in the same bed and he's like, oh my gosh, you're like fire. Yeah, it's just so hot, right? And then you're talking about weight gain. I mean, your hormones kind of fluctuate with that weight gain. Let us not even talk about the lack of sleep, right? I mean, the lack of sleep is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. They tell you, I mean, I want to be like, are you joking? Because you're telling me I'm supposed to have anywhere between 7 to 8 hours of really good sleep. I'm lucky if I have 2, sometimes even 1, it seems like. But I mean, if you have a secret to tell me how to find really good sleep, I'm all game. I've done the magnesium. I've done all the things. I've done the hot baths. I mean, like everything. And there's some days where I have great sleep and I wake up invigorated, let's go for the day, all the things. But 90% of my days are stuck in that 2 to 5 hour sleep mark, if you will. Okay, and let's talk about the mind. Like, I can say it feels like your mind goes to mush. I mean, the forgetfulness is absolutely ridiculous. You feel like I feel like I'm losing brain cells because you just asked me a question and I don't even remember what you said. Or I put something there and I don't remember what I was going for. Like, Even today, like even right now, it's like I'm forgetting what I really wanted to say. I have all these amazing words and all these things, and yet, okay, perfectionism kicks in. But at the same time, I'm like, I just want to talk. I don't want to forget what I wanted to say. And it can get so frustrating. Yes, I've tried all the things, lion's mane, ashwagandha, they help, but it's still frustrating. It's still frustrating because you don't feel yourself. And if you don't feel yourself, you don't feel like you can contribute as a human being. You don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel like you can put words together, because remember when we used to be able to have really incredible conversations, and we can go hours and hours down, the coffee shops. The next thing you know, you're looking at your watch and it's 2, 3 hours later. You're lucky if you can form 2 to 3 sentences anymore, it seems like. Like, you really have to put some thought into what you want to say, and then capture the moment to say it, because you're going to probably forget about what you wanted to say. I mean, right? Okay, and let's talk about muscle loss. That's probably the first sign that I saw of truly being in menopause, because yeah, the metabolism downsizes and your pants basically upsize. The muscle loss that I felt was literally, all I can say is it shrunk to nothing. Like, I would go in my legs thinking, where did my muscles go? I used to have muscle on my legs, and now I feel like it's just small leg, skinny kind of thing, but the extra weight, if you will, my arms, like I feel like I just don't have the muscle, and so it just sucked into abyss. Like, I don't even know where it went, and I'm over here working out, lifting weights, and it's just gone. So again, if you have a reason for that, I mean, tell me down in the comments below, because I'd love to know how we're going to get past this muscle loss. Because yes, you're telling us to go and lift weights and you lift heavy and do all those things. Like, I'm doing it, but I'm so frustrated because it's just not happening. Is it in the cards anymore? I guess is the bigger question. And then with stress and weight gain and menopause, you've got emotional eating. And I am a victim of stress eating. Like, if I'm in stress, I need sugar, I need a snack, I need to just take my mind off of things. And yes, I should tell you to get into the word and pray and do all those things. And that is no disrespect, but I'm always going to be real with you guys. Do I do that all the time? No. Do I do that sometimes? Yes. But sometimes I guiltily go and I just need a break. I don't want to think. I don't want to read something. I just want to sit and not think at all. So comfort food can sneak in when stress peaks, right? So you have food, you have stress, you've got this insulin and this cortisol, and that is that winning combination for what we all call that muffin top. So how do we conquer all this? How do we allow ourselves to look beyond this, if you will? One of the things I've given myself is grace. Grace in knowing that I don't have to sit in guilt, sit in frustration. I can go ahead and start taking small, intentional steps. And if in those steps produce small wins, which releases dopamine. So every time I finish a podcast, man, I'm excited. I've got dopamine because I feel accomplished. Like, it wires my brain to keep going. And I want to keep doing those things that give me that small win, that make me feel like I'm still contributing to the world, that make me feel good about myself, that it puts everything that I feel about myself to the side because I feel good about myself because I've been able to have small wins in my life. So I want you to visualize for your own self this cycle of small wins, giving yourself grace in the hard stuff, understanding that our bodies do change. And we're all in this together and we're trying to figure this out. But while we're figuring this out, we can support each other, encourage each other, be the one that says, I can age in this amount of all the things that are changing in world, but I can age gracefully. Because why do we need, and this is why I believe aging is a privilege. See, we need to talk openly about the stage of our life. It sucks. It sucks. If I can say it any louder without blowing the mic out, it sucks. Okay? You're moody, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're forgetful, you can't complete a sentence, you've got brain fog, my gosh, weight gain, hot flashes. I mean, all of the things that you're over here fighting and you don't even know who you are anymore. Such a struggle, but it is a privilege to age because we're here on this earth. See, and that's this thing that we have to understand. If we're having a hot flash, that's something that our body is telling us, is pushing notifications, if you will, that something needs to slow down in our life. They're not just here to be here because you're in menopause. Hot flashes happen for a reason. See, one of the things I have the hardest time with is brain fog. Like, I hate that I feel like I can't remember some of the things that I was just thinking about 30 minutes ago. I can't stand it because here I was corporate America, doing the things that I was holding board meetings and staff meetings and hiring people. And it was easy and it came easy. I remember in 2008, the recession had hit and I had to go back to work. And thankfully I got a job that was in marketing and management. And so I was a club manager for a private country club, and it was fun. And I was doing the things that I knew how to do. And that was about 13, 14 years ago. If I was assigned that type of work today, I wouldn't have confidence in myself today to do it. Because I feel like my body has changed, my mind has changed. I'm not as clear and as focused as I used to be. Now, maybe exercise, just like exercise in our body, we get better over time. It could be the same thing. But that trust of who you are, it kind of dwindles, if you will. This is for me, it's not for everybody, but it's just felt like it was dwindling because the knowledge of who I was, of what I could do, could I still do it 10, 15 years later? But sometimes I think we have to learn to just laugh. Laugh at the situation. Or let our hormones just take over. I mean, think about those Publix commercials, especially the ones around the holidays. My gosh, either they're, a child comes home from college or family comes from, 1,000 miles away for Christmas, and they've got the videos, the commercials that they're showing, like, it just sends you into a crying fit. I mean, it's just one of those things that you're like, oh my gosh, my hormones. I mean, sometimes you're just emotionally sensitive too. Now, hot flashes, yes. It feels like our thermostat's broken. I mean, but your husband thinks that you're making moves because you're taking all your clothes off. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot. And you're just sending mixed messages. And then you've got the weight gain, like we've talked about, where you can just swear that you walk by a bakery and you've gained 5 pounds. And then the sleep, right? You're sleep deprived. Like, I don't sleep anymore. I take naps. So how do I cope with all this? I kind of do 3 things. I laugh. I find that laughing just gives me a little bit of hope that all of this is so temporary. But if I can laugh through the circumstance, I know God's got me. And it'll be okay. The other one is working out. I always feel like I've got to get a workout to just get that clarity, get that perseverance, know that I can get through the day because I've got energy. I feel good about myself. So working out is another thing that it's just a mandatory thing, if you will. And then community, my church, my faith. Those things are so important to me, to have people around me, understanding. We understand each other. We're like-minded because we know that this world is so temporary. Our bodies are so temporary that we can't wait to get our heavenly body, if you will, that's perfect, and we don't have to pay for all the things, if you will, to get it fixed. Listen, I've learned in community that a 5-minute vent with a friend can drop my cortisol faster than a 50-minute yoga class. I will take a conversation with a friend any day, any time of the week. See, I just want to remind you, your worth isn't tied to a number on the scale or the size of your jeans. It doesn't. It's not tied to that. You're tied to who God says you are. I want you to take 3 actions, if you will. I want you to take these away with you today. Number 1, speak life over yourself. See, life and death are in the power of the tongue. That if God be for you, who can be against you? Oh, and come on, there's what Philippians 4, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Speak life over yourself. Number 2, replace guilt. Replace guilt, those spirals of guilt, with gratitude. Begin to make a list. I'm thankful that I can walk. I'm thankful that I can get up in the morning. I'm thankful that I can get up 3 times in the middle of the night because I can still get up and walk. I'm grateful that I can have the eyesight that I have. I'm grateful that I don't have cancer. I'm grateful that I'm still living, and I'm grateful that my kids still love me. Begin to be grateful. Begin to speak life into yourself. And then the last thing, find community. Find community that gets it. Get friends that understand right where you're at, because they're right there with you, because they are there too. Listen, aging and stress, they don't define you, but how you respond to it does. So here's what I have. If you're going to need something practical to anchor this conversation, where you are in the middle of hot flashes, brain fog, or that 2 a.m. wide awake moment, I created what I'm calling the 7-day menopause reset. It's really simple. It's just a 1-page sheet. It's a free download. And it's going to give you the daily actions and steps that I take that are not just realistic, but they're simple, because I like simple. I'm not over here to say, okay, we need to do this and do that. They are doable things. I'm not going to have you buy anything. There's no links. There's nothing. It's just a simple framework of what I'm doing to help me with my stress, my hormones, get those under control. So think of it as a reset button for hope, if you will. So just click the link in the description below, and that'll get right to you. But I want to close with this. Going through menopause and understanding why our bodies are doing what they're doing. As someone that isn't a doctor, isn't a therapist, isn't a nutritionist, none of that. I'm just someone going through it myself. I hope today's conversation really was just a perspective of you not feeling alone. That you've got somebody on your side kind of going and walking through the same thing you are. Some days it's a hot flash. Some days the brain fog is absolutely insane. Sometimes the weight gain and the belly has just appeared and you don't know what to do. It's not all symptoms all the time. Some days it's this, some days it's that. But it seems to never leave. And in your mind, you think, okay, this is all this is. That is such a lie. It is such a lie. That isn't all there is. There is so much more out there for us to do, and in our families, in our marriages, with our friends. There's so many things that I think for myself, I'm teaching myself too, is this isn't all there is. That there is so much more to life. And I'm not going to sit there and focus on the things that I don't like. I don't like seeing wrinkles. I don't like seeing weight gain. I don't like the things that I think a lot of us struggle with. But to know it's okay. To know that we can have real conversations about things like a muffin top. Things that we're not exactly understanding. Like I said, we grew up wanting that Cindy Crawford, not just her mold, but her six-pack abs. I didn't want to be like Kate Moss. Kate Moss was skinny. Love her, but that was a lot, but Farrah Fawcett, Wonder Woman, you think about all the people that we grew up with, and for generations, it's not uncommon to hear about being skinny or all of these things. And so I think, was it Oil of Olay that had a huge campaign about being a woman of all sizes? And that's well and good, and I think that's great, and it's definitely needed. But this isn't just about weight gain and the fluctuations of weight. There's so much more to menopause, and there's so many things that we didn't touch on. And so if you have somebody that you think would be great to bring on, comment below. Send me their name. Send me an email, DM, what have you, because we need to have real conversations. I don't want to be, okay, tell me, what I need to buy. I think our generation, we are bought out. Like, we're done buying. We have bought everything. We have bought the collagen. We have bought the supplements. We have bought the pills for the hair loss. We have done it all. We are probably one of the largest, if not the biggest market when it comes to buying things that are anti-aging to prevent us from aging. And we've got to change the framework. We've got to change the mindset. Like I said, yes, that we have to find our worth. That we have wisdom, we have experience, we have all those things. But what does it look like every day for us that we can feel good about ourselves? So, again, would love to hear your comments. Let's have a conversation. And let's talk about this thing called menopause. And we didn't talk a lot about perimenopause. Once you get past it, it does come a little easier. But there are some changes still that do happen, a lot of changes. But anyway, you guys, different episode on the Fearless Forward podcast. I love that you are here. I love that we are completely just changing it up every once in a while. So we'll see you soon.